I'm going whale watching this next month. And then we decided if we like it down there, we're going to take a vacation down there for like a mini vacation, like 4 days at this place where we're going to go whale watching. And there's some, I'm a photographer, and there's some other picture takers going. And I think it ought to be interesting. This will be one of my first social excursions in a long time, getting out in the real world. And I discussed it with my therapist today, amongst other things. Um, I like my therapist. He's really cool. One of the things as I told him is that I lull myself into this sort of, how would I say that? I said it perfectly earlier. My syntax has now digressed. Um, I lull myself into this false sense of friendship with my therapist because I have few social interactions, in face to face social interactions. My social interactions right now consist of these videos and posting silly ass comments on Facebook or Twitter or wherever I happen to be at the moment. And I told my therapist, I said, look, I said I'm starting to feel like I'm lulling myself into this false sense of friendship where you're concerned. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not a romantic liking. This is just a false sense of friendship because my therapist and I have a good connection. That's just the way that is. If we had not met under these circumstances, we'd probably be friends and hang out sometime. So that's just the way that is. And so, but what it makes me feel like, and this is a danger, I guess. And I don't think people ever. I'm probably the only person in the fucking world who's ever thought of it this way. But because of that feeling of friendship versus, while at the same time trying to maintain that professional separation, I sort of start feeling like he's a hooker. I'm paying for his time to be my sort of therapeutic friend. And I find that really kind of funny because he and I have a lot of different kinds of conversations. And he was very proud of me today because I'm going to do this real social interaction, outside of my hooker therapist. And so I know he might come and look at this. I don't know what he does. He's sometimes he looks at my stuff, sometimes he doesn't. It doesn't really matter, but I hope he looks at this. And so anyway, the I have for any of you who've ever been to therapy, have you ever thought of your therapist as a hooker? I mean, you're paying them to evaluate. You're paying them to help you through issues. Something a lot of people work with their friends to do. And so, in a way, you've become a John, and your therapist is a hooker. I don't know where I find these things in my tattered brain, but my brain is absolutely tattered as much as my hair is. I'm decided I'm keeping it up until I can get it cut. This is just a bunch of stringy, curly fucking mess when it's down. Anyway, so it's I'm getting older and my hair is thinning, and as it thins, it gets more and more wavy, which is because it was really thick, it was heavy, and it held no curl, except when I cut it really short. And so now it's like long and waking up in the morning with like ringlets around like a 12-year-old. But anyway, so that's why the hair is like this, and I don't really care what anybody thinks. But yeah, social interaction is extremely important for people who have anxiety disorder. And for a lot of people who have anxiety disorder, social interaction is very difficult. And so you have to remember, when you're dealing with a therapist or you're dealing people in a professional manner, is to be able to differentiate between who is your friend and who you're paying for services, so to speak. And so, it's interesting, and there's a really lot of deep sort of layers of onion in all of that you can peel back, and you peel back in yourself to find out sort of who you are, where you're going, where you stand. But social interaction is really important. I've been isolated for years now. Years. I haven't made a new friend in probably 20 years just because I don't feel it. You know what I mean? I don't feel it. I don't feel it. And maybe if I do meet some people that are cool and nice and I want to hang around with, I will feel that again. I will feel like, oh, I want to be part of this friendship dynamic. But it's not something I feel like I'm really missing out on. But in reality, I am, because it is necessary for emotional and even sometimes maybe even spiritual and intellectual stimulation. I've found that my therapist is one of the only people I can really have a conversation with who understands what the hell I'm talking about. A lot of people don't, and it's not their fault. It's just that I'm just on a different wavelength than a lot of people. And I'm not trying to say that as if I'm special or something. I'm not. I'm just me. But I am. I do find that I have difficulty establishing and maintaining social relationships with people. It's always this fear of projection. There's always this fear of something, and I'm learning more and more how to be more hardcore with myself and overcome those feelings. But it ain't easy. That's not some easy shit right there. That's some hard shit. And so, anyway, that's my 5 cents for today. Um, my 5 cents. Anyway, so everybody have a great day. And oh, don't forget your butterflies and your roses. Have a good one.